in the back.
Okay, and then I'll look because I did a.
Perry, you good?
Yes.
All right.
Turner's good.
I'm going to call this meeting to order, the regular meeting, November 25th, 2019, for Buena Vista Township. Call to order, Lisa.
Mrs. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Martinelli.
Here.
Mr. Turner.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mayor Cirillo is absent.
Get a motion to excuse the mayor.
Motion to excuse.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On January 8th, 2019, notice of this meeting was mailed to the Daily Journal and the press and duly posted in the main lobby of the municipal complex. All requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met in compliance with the Sunshine Law. Salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, then the approval of minutes, Lisa.
I have 3 sets of minutes I set forth for approval this evening. The caucus meeting, October 28th, the regular meeting of October 28th, and the executive meeting of October 28th. All members were present.
Motion to approve is read into the record. Second.
Okay, roll call.
Kelly.
Yes.
Martinelli.
Yes.
Turner.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes. Announcements, presentations, and discussions. I want to introduce tonight for the first time the new station commander here in Buena Vista Township for the New Jersey State Police, Lieutenant Roger Nicholson. Join us at the mic, Lieutenant.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. What I'm going to do, I'm Lieutenant Roger Nicholson. I'm just going to read over some of the statistics. They incorporate a part of the month of October into November, just as what we're doing as a state police for your community, your township of Buena Vista. A total of calls for service was 157 calls for service. That doesn't include motor vehicle stops or things that were initiated by us. Those are the number of calls that we received as a station from outside entities like yourselves, community members, businesses, and so forth, asking for our assistance in a multitude of different jobs. We also had a multitude of motor vehicle stops, which are normal in most townships, just to quell speeding and lower the accidents. Criminal investigations, most involved narcotics and drugs for motor vehicle stops and so forth. Otherwise, there were a couple burglaries, only 2. Car burglaries, where they'll actually burglarize the car to get items out of the car. Both of them, the cars were unlocked, so just keep your cars locked. In most cases, they'll go around, they'll pull your door handles and go someplace else till they find somebody that has the unlocked door, and unfortunately, that's what most of these criminals do this time of year, especially around the holidays, looking for extra money to get gifts, or in the same instance, the narcotic issue that is prevalent in most of the townships throughout the state. Motor vehicle crashes, which is a great news, are only 12. Most are deer. The deer are in rut, so try not to go too fast in wooded areas. The deer are on the move. Alarm calls, 33. They were all false alarms, and like I said, there were 2 burglaries. Medical assists, there were 34. We have a Cranberry Run. It's a 55-plus community. Most of those medical assists were for those older residents at that community. There was 1 overdose death, just to show the narcotic issue that we have, and there was also 1 Narcan deployment that saved somebody. The unfortunate thing about this is he was driving when he overdosed and could have killed somebody, but he was saved and he went to the hospital. And other than that, does anybody have any questions for the state police, for myself?
I just have a question. I don't know if this is appropriate time to bring it up, but we moved here about 3 months ago, and we moved to Cedar Avenue, which is 1 house from St. Augustine.
Yes.
And we have a 6-year-old with autism who has movement issues and he doesn't really listen, ADHD too.
Sure.
And to make a long story short, I had written a letter. I had called the traffic analyst, and they said that over there in the county in Northfield, and they did a study, and 35-mile-an-hour road, the average speed is 50.
Right.
And he says that most, there's a good number of people that go 65 to 70 miles an hour, including school buses. And it's a huge concern because for 3 hours in the morning, and into the evening hours and when they have events. So I'm trying to find out what I can do to keep our sons safe. They told me to call the state police and try to get enforcement or one of those signs that give the feedback of their speed. But, I mean, I can't imagine a state police officer sitting there every, you know what I mean? So
We try, believe it or not, because of the school. They're young drivers. The biggest problem with young drivers is speeding and cell phone use, but speeding is a majority of it. And when they leave school, they have no concept with their young driving, with their young age, that they're speeding to the point of hazardousness. And they, you know, they take off. They're young, and we try to run multitude of enforcement details out there. But like you said, we can't do it every day.
Right, it's the bus drivers too.
Same concept. I know the principal there. I can call him and at least speak to him about the school bus situation and so forth. At least he can hit it, you know, nip it in the bud when it comes down to that directly with those adult drivers.
Right,
And
especially with the handicapped child. I mean, he does not listen, and I just, like I said, there's two shown in the area signs, but like I said, 65-70 right past those signs. And I just want to know what I can do as a parent, now that we've moved here, onto, I kind of signalize it was at higher speed.
we can talk afterwards
Oh,
if you'd
sure.
like, okay? As soon as I'm through, absolutely, I'll take you outside and we can have a talk about it, okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to make it.
Sure. Anybody else?
Congratulations, LT.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
and I'm glad
congratulations.
you're going to be able to help this young lady with her problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
The last minute, the director of the King Center called in. He could not make it tonight. So the administrator, Lisa Tilton, will give his report on his behalf.
Thank you, Committeeman Martinelli. Just want to give a couple updates for some upcoming events that they're having over at the Dr. Martin Luther King Center, which is located on Jackson Road. The biggest event they have right now is coming this week, which is Thursday, November 28th. It's their 4th annual Community Thanksgiving Dinner. It starts at 2 p.m. They have appetizers, football's on TV, and then they also serve dinner. There's a lot of great volunteers coming out for that event, and they roughly have about 25 to 30 individuals registered. If you would like to participate in that, if you don't have anywhere to go and you just want to be able to hang out with some great individuals with a good time, feel free to give our Dr. Martin Luther King Center a call to reserve your spot. It's 609-704-7262, and speak to our director, which is Quentin McClendon, and we could definitely get you right in there for a spot for that great event. Friday, December 13th is their annual Christmas party. Santa Claus will be coming to town, and also toys will be given to the children who also come there as well, with the elves and some food. So definitely want to partake in that as well. For updated information, you can also visit their Facebook page, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Center, or our Facebook page, which is Buena Vista Township, for updated times and events. And the seniors will be having their seniors annual Dr. Martin Luther King celebration, which will be held on Monday, January 20th in 2020. So again, just take a look for updated times and events. Thank you very much.
And Lisa, I'm glad you brought that up because he said he was making enough for 50, so in case there's extra people, it'd be good to know ahead of time so that he can be prepared.
Yep, absolutely.
Our Director of Public Works, Brian Johnson, will give his report.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, Township Committee, residents and the public. Public Works monthly report for November. November 2nd, this month, Public Works hosted our monthly resident drop-off. We had a decent turnout. Once again, residents dropped off brush, oil, and e-waste materials. We've been staying up on dirt roads, being repaired and graded. Roadside trash, tree, brush cutting has been done throughout the township. We managed to cut down 3 roadside hazardous trees before they blew down during the storms. That could have taken out poles and power lines. All yard waste and brush has been picked up and chipped. Potholes has also been taken care of, filled and repaired throughout the township, along with large and small projects and upgrades that has been made to Town Hall, MLK Center, and other township-owned buildings. Several fleet vehicles have been repaired and continuous maintenance, servicing all the equipment has been maintained, and fall leaf collection has started. A lot of fun. We've experienced a few minor breakdowns and one major breakdown. Unfortunately, we're still experiencing a lot of problems with residents hiding things and not following the rules with their leaf piles. And also, the weather's been a small little issue for us. But with all the hard work, the guy's been doing a great job. We've managed, despite all the setbacks, to get back on schedule. I'd just like to remind some of the residents, I'm getting a lot of phone calls while we're passing their piles. It's either because it's not out to the road. Public Works, we just can't come 15, 20 feet off the road into your property to rake up your leaves. You have to get them out to the road. And a lot of the piles still have large branches. We've been finding a lot of kids' toys in the leaf piles. Once again, this year we had a couple bricks that we pulled out of the leaf vac machine. Pretty much whatever, unfortunately, the residents are cleaning their yard up with, they're hiding them in the leaf piles. So, and it's definitely not good for the equipment, for the machine. People are still parking in the street, blocking off both sides of the leaf pile. There's absolutely no way we can get to them with your vehicles there. We can't take a chance on damaging, anybody's personal vehicles. And just outside stuff like basketball hoops that they have out in the street, they have to be removed as well, because we just can't get the machine in there to take care of the piles. We are leaving stickers on the ones that we're bypassing, and we're leaving them a note of why we're not picking up their piles. It's just mostly for those reasons. So we're trying to do our best with that. We will be making a second loop throughout the township, starting probably the second week of December. So make sure everybody has their piles out and ready to go. Try to follow the guidelines on the brochure. If not, feel free to call my office at 856-692-4121, and I can answer any of your questions, or town hall. I'm sure the ladies in the clerk's office probably going to kill me for saying that, but they answer a lot of questions for us, so feel free to to call town hall as well for any questions. Last thing I have on my list, I'd just like a quick discussion with our public works equipment and our fleet. I know you guys been seeing a lot of bills lately that's been coming in due to the shape of some of the vehicles and the fleet that we have in the equipment. If you don't know, some of the vehicles are over 20 years old. They've been maintained. Carlo and the guys been doing a great job keeping up on maintenance, keeping everything maintained, but we've just been having a lot of problems lately with the fleet. I do know when I first started, I did a solid 4-page report that I had given to the administrator at that time with the shape of the fleet and the vehicles. I realized that there was not really a program to be replacing any of the equipment, or a long-term solid plan to make any improvements, or as far as replacing some of the equipment that needed to be replaced. Once again, we've been doing our best trying to keep everything running. So I just wanted to bring that up because I'm sure you guys have been seeing a lot of the bills lately, and some of the stuff that's been going out, we fix as much as we can in-house between Carlo and some of the guys, even myself that can turn wrenches, that know how to repair stuff. But the stuff that's been going out to Littleton and these other companies are mainly the newer vehicles. They're all computerized, and we're just not set up in the facility to be able to read those codes, to make a lot of the repairs. So that's why a lot of that stuff has to go out, because that's above our means to be able to repair in-house. So I just wanted to, let you guys, let you know that, because I've been getting a lot of questions asked, about some of the breakdowns and some of the equipment. A lot of it's small stuff, some of it's major stuff. It's just from the years of abuse with snow plowing, salt, brake lines, stuff like that, that's just been rusted out over the years. So with that said, I respectfully ask if I may come up with a solid plan by February going forward for what equipment needs to be replaced. I fully understand being under budget restraints, but I'm very confident that I can turn things around and formulate a good, strong plan to increase longevity for the entire fleet, if it is possible. with only purging what is necessary and rebuilding what has potential life left in the equipment. I'd like to take my hat off to the administrator, Lisa. She's been doing a great job. I don't know how she does it. She remembers all the numbers, what's in the account, what's in the budget. She helps me not only find answers, but she helps me find the extra money to be able to find the equipment. And I really appreciate your help, Lisa. You've been doing a great job helping me, you know, keep the fleet running and going in a positive direction. It's just at a point now where some of the pieces are really starting to nickel and dime us, and you know, we'll have to look forward to maybe purging them or trying to replace them.
Well, I think we do have a plan this coming year for purchasing.
Right, yeah.
You have that,
Some
you know
stuff,
that.
yes, I have
Okay,
that.
you're aware of
Yeah.
that, okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, we'll definitely.
What we need from
be
you
glad
is,
for a plan.
besides the trucks and dump trucks that we're gonna try to replace in 2020, what exactly is some of the other equipment? Because this is the first I'm hearing about all of these immense problems.
Some of the mowers, the roadside mowers, decks, some of the finish mowers for the parks and stuff, they're just getting shot where all the bearings, they just need a complete.
What do you
rebuild.
have in Michael Debbie, a 997 John Deere? Do you have something else that I don't know about?
Just the finish mowers, the mowers that cut all the fields,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yep, and the bigger John Deere at Michael Debbie is what we use the mulch for, you know, the leaves with the
Right.
York rake on the back and stuff like that.
Now, what kind of diagnostic equipment do you need to help you with these computerized vehicles?
Well, you would need an advanced computer scanner to be able to plug into the OBD ports
How much?
to read them. Well, it depends on what brand you buy. A good Snap-on will run about $5,000.
Well, this could be discussed in a workshop where we have more of a plan
Mm-hmm. Right.
and details at that
Absolutely.
point.
Yep,
Definitely.
I just wanted to bring it forward because I know towards the end of the year, you know, we were really tight and, you know, a few people have been questioning about the vehicles, so I just wanted to bring
Okay.
it up.
I want to add that you've been doing a very good job on the leaves, even though there seems to be a lot more leaves this year from the storm. They all came down instead of half of them.
Yes.
So you had a lot more to collect, and I know it's very difficult in certain areas, but you've been doing a great job on that, so I wanted to compliment you on that.
Great, thanks. And that will conclude my report for this evening. Does Township Committee, Deputy Mayor have any questions, concerns, or comments?
No, I think that's it for now. unless- Dave or John, you have, or Steve, you already asked some. Anybody
No, but
else
I'm
have
gonna- I'm
questions?
gonna stop around to see you either tomorrow or Friday. I wanna talk to you about some of this equipment that you're having problems with.
Okay. I'm gonna say that I'm very well aware of what's going on down there. You know, me and Brian talked since I'm on Public Works Committee. You know, last summer, you know, me and him talked, and we're gonna move in a positive direction with committee and get this done. When I first looked at the equipment last summer, you know, me being a Public Works man, I was very dismayed. But we're gonna move forward and get the equipment done and everything, and you know, you have a 5-year plan which Brian's going to work on. Okay.
Okay, very good, Mr. Turner, thank you.
I just want to thank Brian for the, getting on track with the leaf pickup. We're in Collins Lakes, heavy now, finishing it up.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Our Township Engineers Report, Dave Scheidek.
Thank you. Just a couple things on my report. We're still in a holding pattern with the Public Works Building. Unfortunately, it's up at USDA going through their review. I saw some email correspondence. Lisa was nice enough to prod the USDA in addition to our office. We had a promise that they'd get that review done shortly and get a response back to us. So hopefully we'll have that shortly so that we can go out to bid. Two other things. The Martin Luther King HVAC replacement, our office had done an investigation with regard to direct install. That's a BPU program where monies are made available to upgrade efficiency of lights and HVAC equipment through municipal buildings. We were working with Hutchinson. We provided them all the electric bills for the year. Also had lengthy discussions with them. Hutchinson had done other direct install projects for us at the Martin Luther King Center. And at the end, they unfortunately had to say that it didn't meet the criteria for direct install, being so that there were trailers and not actual buildings, and also the specific type of HVAC units. We have barred units, they're just a bolt-on, electric-fired heating and air conditioning, and for some reason, those barred units, again, are not applicable to the direct install program. So once we got that from those experts, we met on site with MPE, who's a mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer. Quentin McClendon was nice enough to open up the place early for us one morning, around 7:30, 7:45. We went through the site. MPE did a quick initial design for us with 5 attic-mounted units instead of using the wall-mounted units. They passed those, his initial design off to a couple of contractors, and we should have budget pricing numbers back sometime this week. We need to know what the scope and scale is going to be of our of this project, and like I said, by the end of this week we should have that information. So I'll fill you in as we get that. I'll email it to you all, and so we know where we are. Lastly, our office has been lending a hand to Brian and his crew with Public Works equipment, specifically the dump trucks that we were trying to purchase. I met with several manufacturers at the League of Municipality on Wednesday and Thursday. In fact, we're trying to set up a meeting for early next week to look at a couple of units. We need to work through some of the specifications and get some hard purchasing numbers out. Thankfully, all of the people that we're working with are all part of Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a state-approved purchasing procedure, so hopefully we can negotiate directly with the providers and not have to go through the full-blown advertise and bid process. So after our meeting next Tuesday, I should have more information for Township Committee with regard to the dump truck aspect of the equipment issue. So that's all that's on my list right now.
Well, thank you, Dave. Does anyone have any questions for Dave? Okay. I know, Dave, I saw you at one of the courses down there at the League of Municipalities, and there was another one, I think, John, you attended, and I came later for the direct install program that the BPU oversees. And that program, they make it, when they present it, oh, yes, you'll be eligible in this, but now that you went into it, it doesn't happen in our case that we'll be eligible for that program.
We filled out the application, we gave them all the supporting documentation. After site meeting and stuff, they decided it didn't apply. I was disappointed also. I thought it was a good way to go.
Okay, I think though, John, I think you were going to call the BPU and just go over that with him and see. I know the same thing happened with the street lights. We thought, you know, we could get that through the direct install, and then that was totally different from the way we did it. But I mean, we are saving, we did what we could, but we just did not qualify for that particular program. Just like a lot of these programs that are for the state, but depending on who's qualified or not, based on what the issue is. So, okay, thank you, Dave.
Our Township Clerk Administrator, Lisa Tilton, will give her municipal report.
So this evening, it happens every year. It's a requirement for the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. Each municipality in the state of New Jersey is required to complete what's called a municipal best practice questionnaire. That questionnaire gets submitted each year around this time, and that determines the type of final aid, state aid, that is provided to the municipalities. You're required to score within a certain range to be able to either get no aid, which is withholding, or 25% aid withheld, depending on how many of these items within the questionnaire the municipality meets for those criterias. The survey is over 100 different questions. Some of them are worth points, some of them are not. And I am pleased to announce that the tier amount for 30 points for no aid withholding, we actually scored a 36.5, so we scored above the scale. So we will not have any aid from the state withheld. These surveys change every year. They're different every year. There's different requirements and things that municipalities are required to do, whether it's personnel practices, personnel manual, ordinances, or any type of HR thing. So it's a great way to be able to make sure that municipalities are staying in compliance with all the state regulations. So it's put on the record. It's a requirement to be put on the record and provide a presentation to the governing body regarding our funding. And it takes about an hour and a half to do. Just want to throw that in there.
Is that it?
The questionnaire. Yep.
That's it. Item 6, there is no mayor's report tonight, so I'm going to move on to item 7 and item 8.
Let me, Steve, let me just ask Lisa on her report. For the best practices, I know every year we've been doing that. And you were saying it always changes every year.
All the questions
And do they
change.
give you any hints on what would be changing so we
Nope.
could prepare for that? That's the problem with that one, that best practices then. Okay,
Yep,
that was my,
you're never told until they open the portal what those questions are.
just sounds like Sustainable Jersey, the same thing happened there too.
Yes, yes. Just along the same lines. You never know what the criteria is till they open it up for your town.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
All done?
Yes.
Item 7, ordinances for introduction, first reading, 80-2019, authorizing acceptance of land donation for Block 8306, Lot 2. Motion to approve.
Okay, second?
Second?
All right, a roll call?
Kelly,
Yes.
Martinelli,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
There's a second ordinance that agenda's being amended to add in an ordinance under this section for introduction. This was based upon the executive session that happened during the caucus meeting at 7 o'clock. It would be ordinance number 81-2019, again for first reading, authorizing acceptance of land donation from Imaje, it's IMAJE LLC.
by title only.
Right, and then the public hearing and second reading, public hearing on these are gonna be in December.
Is Monday, December 9th, 2019.
Okay. So we make a motion to introduce.
Motion to introduce 81-2019 by title only.
Second? Roll call?
Kelly,
Yes.
Martinelli,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Item 8, ordinances for public hearing, second reading, there being none, I'll move to item 9. Public comment on current agenda items only. In order for the committee to conduct the business of the township in the most productive manner possible, meeting attendees will be given 2 minutes, all inclusive, to comment on any agenda item or items without comment or question from the committee, but only on items specified on the agenda listed for the current meeting. Please stand at the microphone at the appropriate time. State your name and address for the record. Item 10, resolutions. 215-19, authorize payment of bills in the amount of $3,014,972.75. For the record, Atlantic County received $743,584.43. Our school district received $1,743,912.48. Our fire districts received $271,302.75. Consent agenda. Consent agenda includes items of business which are not controversial and do not require individual discussion. A motion approving the consent agenda is moved, seconded, and voted upon as one item by the Township Committee. If any discussion is requested on a consent agenda item, it is removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda. Resolutions. 216-19, authorizing the issuance of street opening permits to South Jersey Gas. 217-19, authorizing transfer of budget appropriations.
Okay, so let's open it to the public, and you want to read that, Steve, the public comment agenda?
He did.
Oh, you already read it? Okay, so motion open to the public?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's now open to the public on the current agenda items only at this time. Please come up, state your name.
Mark Dimitrov, 822 Main Avenue in Richland. And I have a question on the billing, specifically Bernstein and Associates. Maybe you could help me understand. The township has been slow to take care of Oprahs for me. I was given a blank piece of paper one time, basically a blank sheet, in a court case that we were involved with, and in the new case now, I was asking for materials that how much of this is your recommendations with Oprah? Do you have much to say about Oprah? Are you helping to guide us with the Oprah? Well, for example, on the blank sheet that I was given when I was looking for the tree over in Richland, I asked for the donations, who was donating, and everyone was absolutely blanked out. It turned out that the GoFundMe page was in Chuck Chiarello's personal name, and the township refused to give me records. Are you guiding the township on this, or is the township going beyond yours? Because we can save a lot of money if you don't take, if I don't go to Oprah and win these cases, and they could save some money for the township. So are you actually the Oprah attorney as well?
Yes.
And this bill that we have on here is for the current court case that at the General Records Council? You got $12,600?
No.
I don't
It is not.
believe so. I don't have the bill in front of me, sir. It's not, I'm
No,
not the
the
principal of the
12,000 you're
firm.
seeing is 2 months of their, basically,
Everything.
Well, you're
right,
writing
it's
to,
part
you're
of their
writing to,
RFP.
you're writing to the General Records Council now. I see that you're corresponding with them. It doesn't charge, you don't charge extra for this records?
No, our fee
Is all inclusive.
is all
per
inclusive,
month.
sir, no matter how much I'm billing
So
on
you're-
that particular file.
So that's interesting. So you already got it baked in there what the cost is, no matter what?
Not just for Oprah, sir, for all of our services we render to the municipalities.
So why did you threaten to back charge me that the GRC?
Listen,
So
this
you
isn't,
said
this
you were
isn't
gonna
on the
back charge.
agenda. You're talking about a specific
A
matter.
billing, yes.
A
when you-
specific case that's not on the agenda. I'm not going to
specific
comment
case,
on
but
it's
you're billing-
pending. It's pending, correct?
Right, but you actually threatened me that you would back charge me.
I don't
And the
know.
GRC admonished you for it. So you don't, so you didn't have a reason to back charge me.
I don't know what you're talking about right now. You're
Oh,
talking
I'll
about a case
bring it
that's-
next time so we could ask it. So, but you
Sure.
basically say that there's a fixed cost, and yet you threatened to back charge me on if I lose the case. Did you do that?
All
If,
right.
if I felt it was a frivolous case, I would make that claim to anybody.
Okay,
If I
very
felt
good.
it was.
Thank you. That's very interesting. I don't think we should be paying the money for this Oprah because, like I said, being given blank pieces of paper, you admit that
I'm not admitting
Okay.
anything, sir.
I
We're
think
not-
you're done. I
it's not
think
a
he answered your
colloquy here.
question, so I think you can sit down.
No,
You're
he didn't
beyond
answer
your,
my- he
you're
was in the
beyond
middle
your
of-
2 minutes
He was in the middle of
also,
answering my
so.
question. At least have him finish answering my question.
This is not on the agenda either, which this was for the
Okay,
agenda part.
Thank you. We'll wait till catch it in the next part. Thank you.
That's fine.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, next, I need a resolution to authorize payment of the bills.
Motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Okay, roll call, Lisa?
Kelly,
Yes.
Martinelli,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right. Now, the consent agenda. Resolutions 216-19 and 217-19 and 18. Well, we already did 18, the executive session. We're going to be going back into that. So the consent agenda is 216 to 217-19.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All right, roll call?
Kelly,
Yes.
Martinelli,
Yes.
Turner,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, I think we did all our reports. John, are you ready for your report? John Williams?
Yeah, I just want to mention that on the 11th, I attended a veteran service here and in front of the municipal building here, and we also had the flags for forgotten soldiers here for all the 660 flags for the military that were killed by their own hand. Is that each month or year?
Monthly, it's a,
Each month, right?
yeah.
And that was well attended by many of the people in the community here. Also, I attended the League of Municipalities Convention last week, and at the I attended the Sustainable Jersey luncheon on Tuesday, and we received the Bronze Award for our services, and Lisa had a lot to do with that, and we were a little disappointed this year, but we noticed that there was other municipalities in our same situation. We saw that Washington Township had 330 points, so they missed getting the silver by like 20 points. So that was, I'm sure that was disappointing for them too.
Heartbreaking.
So there was some other.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, so it's really been tough with Sustainable Jersey, but we're still proud that we got the Bronze Award. And also, I attended a couple other resource seminars. One was on opioid resource response, and there was a Camden County freeholder, Lou Capelli, and he was telling us about a task force that they had developed for the police department in Camden City, and what they did is raise awareness of the problem, and they find treatment, and they develop legislation for making corrections for the opioid resource. And they also have a healing after loss overdose group, and where they go to the emergency room with coaches and follow up after the emergency room with drug overdoses. So they are trying to work out this problem with the task force that they have, and it was interesting to hear about some of the other responses to the opioid crisis, because what they do is try to indicate that alternative treatments like methadone actually saves lives, but it puts them on other drugs, but it actually sometimes it helps because that they can't handle it any other way. So I attended that, and also I attended the response for the past governors that on Governor Murphy's first 2 years, and it was like an analysis of what he has done and what they were looking to do in the future. And they were big on the wind farm alternate technology, and Teresa and I had also spoke to the wind farm people on putting wind turbines out in the ocean in Atlantic City, about 14 miles out, right? They mentioned, Teresa.
Yes, and it was a motor by GM and increased motor. That was and they had
Yeah.
samples down there.
So they were Teresa questioned about how about the bird strikes and things like that, and they said that's why they're putting it so far out in the ocean. But that was interesting, and that's all I have. Oh, and I also want to thank Larry for attending the veteran service.
Okay, and Steve?
I just have two things. I want to thank the voters that came out and supported John Williams and myself this past election. The second thing is I want to wish everyone a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. And we'll see us all come Christmas time. And Larry, I want to thank you for coming on the 11th to support the veterans and, of course, the 660 flags. That's all I have, Teresa.
Thank you. Dave, do you have anything? Mr. Turner?
No, just like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and also just interject about the 660 flags, which I did help with and everything. And everybody just have a good Thanksgiving and make it a good family time.
Thanks, Mr. Turner, and we understand you're doing well with your knee surgery, so we hope you'll continue to do well with your rehab part of that.
Yeah, we're moving along very nicely there.
Are you dancing yet?
Not quite there, but my wife will do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, on my report, this month I also attended the Veteran Services, and it was very nicely done. We had 3 of our fire companies come, Collins Lakes, Newtonville, and also, there was one I'm missing. Landisville came also, and our neighboring town, so that was nice to have more people attend the meeting. And afterwards, we had cake and coffee for them, and Debbie Kazaza also brought some stuff. She does that every year, too, bringing stuff for the Veterans Day. Also, we had our second annual holiday boutique, and we had it here this year. Last year was at the Martin Luther King Center. This year we had it here. And I don't know, how did we do, Lisa? I didn't
We
get
did
the
great.
results.
We
great.
definitely did great. It was a great turnout. It was a great setup. So hats off to the Special Events Committee and to Beth, who really just took that event and blew it out of the park for this year. So I have to say that everything was very well decorated. A lot of staff chipped in for that, whether it was staff in my office and some Special Events Committee also. So it was a great job, and looking forward to the 3rd annual.
Okay, very good. And also, we attended the Weymouth Township dedication. They dedicated the building to Dominic Messina, who has been there for years, him and his wife in Weymouth Township. And that was a very nice dedication. He had recently passed away. And let's see, we have coming up Friday, December 6th, our 20th annual tree lighting ceremony, and we'll have that here, and it's at 6:30. And the donations that we have been receiving for the toys will also be given out that day. And it's always nice. The fire trucks come and help Santa get here. So that again is Friday, December 6th. That'll be coming up, and we hope everyone can attend. I also attended the League of Municipalities. There was quite a few sessions. John and I divided them up so we could go through more of them. One of the highlights that wasn't mentioned was the shared service one, so I did attend that. And I mentioned a number of things that they said, okay, they will help us with it. So we will look into that and see what we can be helped with. Because a lot of the things we are doing with the shared court system, we're already doing that. We contract with the ACUA for our trash and recycling, so that's considered another shared services, and we will continue to do that to save taxpayers' money. They also have extra funding this year for the consolidation of school districts. That is being emphasized now because we have even more school districts than we do townships. We have 566 towns and over 600 and something school districts, so there is a lot more of that to help consolidate and reduce administration. So that is also the goal that they have statewide, and they have incentive monies for that. And I think they were the highlights. There was quite a few, and we're hoping we can get benefit out of that. Lisa, did you have anybody go down there and have anything that would be helpful from the staff?
Soren Hudema, who is our recycling coordinator, went down there, and with a lot of changes with the recycling that has happened through the ACUA, I think the municipality Earlier this year, we had Rick Dovey in here from the ACOA who explained a lot of that. They had a great seminar out there, and it's just an unfortunate thing that the recycling is kind of taken a dive, I'll put it that way, for the amount of recycling that they're accepting. China is not taking in any type of recycling that they consider to be contaminated, which is basically anything that is still left in any type of bottle or box or anything of that nature. So they only take clean recyclables. And that has definitely hurt the recycling market in New Jersey. And a lot of that is turned into trash, and the municipalities are feeling the brunt of that because now it turns into tipping fees and additional increase to municipalities for trash disposal. So it was a great seminar that he went to, just to be able to, again, teach the residents how to recycle, even cleaning out the bottles, things that they still accept, rinsing the bottles, making sure that they're clean of, whether it's mayonnaise or ketchup or salad dressing. If it's still a 1-2 bottle, on the very bottom, it'll say whether it's a 1 or 2. Please just take the time to rinse that stuff out. It still is considered as recyclable. If you do rinse it out, if not, they're going to discard it as regular trash. So definitely a lot of education that went behind that, and I know he is looking to be able to do some additional flyers aside from what the ACOA does to be able to teach the residents additional recycling to be able to help us out.
Well, that is good, and I know he was taking courses to help with that, and so we appreciate that, too.
And if I can mention one more thing.
Yes, please.
You mentioned the toy drive, and everybody out here can see and take a look at the box that is right out front. It is overflowing. It is completely full. We are still in need of toys, but one of the great things I'd like to announce is South Jersey Gas just recently contacted us, and they indicated that they were willing to donate $1,500 to the Special Events Committee to buy the rest of the toys that would be needed for the event next week. So we definitely went out shopping. That was very, very exciting. It's a great donation from a local utility. They're in and out Buena Vista Township, so we definitely want to say thank you to them. Thank you also to the residents and also to the other businesses who donated. We came in today to a box of toys that were donated from, again, another local business. So Telegin has also taken 2 toy boxes as well as food baskets for donations of food through the holiday season. So a lot of the businesses locally have also stepped up, and it's very exciting to see them be part of the events that are occurring in the township. So just want to say thank you to South Jersey Gas and all of our local businesses and residents who have donated.
Fantastic. And I think the calendar is getting ready, and that will hopefully will be out soon. And we appreciate Mayor Chuck still working on that with the help of Lisa, John, and myself. And so it's going to be another great year, and we really appreciate that with all the hard work that was done on that. And I think that's all I'll have for my report at this time. Anyone else before we open to the public?
Yeah, the only thing I would like to add is to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and it's a good time of year where the families give thanks during that day, and I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, John, and I send my regards as well. All right, then next we'll do the public comment.
Item 14, the committee welcomes participation of interested organizations and individuals during regular caucus workshop and special meetings. However, in order to conduct the business of the township in the most productive manner possible, attendees will be giving 4 minutes, all-inclusive, including all dialogue, questions, and responses from both the speaker and the committee for the designated public portion of the meeting. There may be no transference of a speaker's time to other attendees. Please stand at the microphone at the appropriate time. State your name and address for the record. Thank you. Motion to open to the public.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening, Julie Akers, Newtonville. I have a question, a couple of questions. The first one I brought up last meeting. I know Chuck's not here tonight, but we've got another month before the end of the year. I think it's it's time to be planning ahead for, you know, what's going to happen. I don't see Chuck coming back, I'm guessing. And I know that he's busy working on things like the calendar, but I hope there's something in the plans to, you know, continue moving on past that. And if he does get better, then he comes back. But I wanted to bring that up. Second one is Dave had his report about the Public Works project. And my question was, is there a possibility of just dropping it if it's not going to be something that can be figured out within that budget of $793,000? We've already committed, and I thanked Lisa last couple months ago for kind of getting a running total of how much we've already spent on this project. It's about just under $80,000 from what, you know, she could piece together and some of the resources that I had already gotten through Oprah documents. So that's something we won't get back. I know we have the, you know, we've already bonded the money. So if it's going to be very expensive, I did notice on the agenda in the executive committee that there are potential lawsuits coming up from people on Post Road. And to me, I think that, you know, I worked at the Public Works building, and I know that it's an old building, and this was when it was really old. So I understand that, but I do think that some of our priorities might be more in making sure that the contamination from that landfill is adequately taken care of, and that those residents are adequately taken care of. And if this free grant money is going to become more and more of a problem, you know, either dealing with USDA for, and I know in researching another project along the river, which was a USDA grant, it can be like excruciatingly slow, and you know, they want to have documentation here, and then things just, it takes a really long time for something to come together, and then in the end, it might not really be worth it. So I guess my question mostly is, can we get out of that deal? And will we be better off limiting, you know, kind of eating what we've already put into it? I'm sure there's some parts of it that can be salvaged, that can be, you know, have, you know, it was a good effort to like determine some of the things there. But like, how much more is it going to cost us in time and money to put into that project when there could be some other things that it could be better spent on? My comments.
Well,
And a
of
question is,
course,
can we get out of that?
Of course, we can do whatever we decide to do, so these are things we will look at once we have all the facts and look to see what the bid may be, and so that's always a possibility either way, Julie.
No, okay, I understand, but it is something, it's not binding. So we can decide to say, hey, this is something that we can back out of. It's a offer for a loan.
Of course, of
Correct.
course.
Okay, just
Sure.
wanted to be sure of that.
That's
And
always a
as far as,
possibility.
I mean, I guess in your best estimate, Dave, since you deal with these places more, is about how much longer will it take before they even, you know, come back with some, I mean, I've seen all the red tape that this other applicant went through, and I thought, oh my gosh, you know, and that wasn't anything like in this realm either.
I don't know. I am optimistic that we'll have an answer from them relatively shortly, within the next couple of weeks for sure, before the end of the year, probably before Christmas, that will be good. It is a lot of red tape. They just changed their whole front end, so of their specifications, and dealing with the federal government on this is very difficult, but I'm confident that we'll get the green light from them to go ahead and bid this in the near term, like I said, and then we'll see where we are with numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Dimitrov, Richland. I'm going to follow up Just for example, the case that I'm working on right now with the township is that the GoFundMe tree funding for Richland Park is in a private name. It's not in the township name. And I was refused the documents for that. I wanted to clear up just 3 matters. First, Mr. Deanne, if you were going to back charge me, as you had done in this case that you threatened to do, and you have a fixed cost, what would the savings be, and what would you charge me for something that's a fixed cost?
The fixed cost is our contract with the municipality. It has nothing to do with the specific case.
But then, no,
But
when
it
you
would
said
be
you were
the
gonna back
time, it would be the
charge.
time expended in having to defend that case.
So it would go into your pocket rather
No.
than the township's pocket? Is that what you're trying to say? The township, you would actually charge the township less than the fixed
I
cost?
don't know.
No,
how to-
you misunderstood. I didn't
Listen,
get
we
it
all,
that
we know
way.
what the,
You're
we know
not
what the
listening.
response was from the GRC. We're not permitted
Oh, they
to,
were mad.
under the
They were mad.
statute.
They said you can't do that.
That's your characterization. The statute permits only prevailing party fees for requesters or plaintiffs, not for municipality defendants, so.
So that was not, that was just done to threaten me.
It wasn't to threaten you. I didn't threaten you. I just made a request to the GRC, and which I've made in many other cases that don't involve you, so.
Number 2, we can save a lot of time for both you and me in my cases because I'm just trying to find out where the money went and where the things are, the records. I was refused
Didn't we
these records
provide
first.
didn't we provide that information
No,
to
you
you in
didn't,
the
because
past,
that's, or else we
Lisa?
wouldn't be in a court case that I just
Lisa
won.
says she has provided you that information, Mr. Dimitrov.
Have you provided me the response from the GRC?
There were several.
No, 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 did you provide me what the
Can I
GRC
answer?
just asked?
Can I answer? There were several OPA requests in which you submitted. The one that you are referring to, I'm not going to discuss under attorney advice. However, there was another one that you requested regarding the regarding the monies that were deposited by the township, and you did receive those checks that we did submit to you. That was a separate OPA request.
Right, I'm not
Even
talking
though
about
the
that. I'm talking about this OPA request here,
Well,
where right now it's
I'm
in a
not going to
private.
discuss this OPA request.
Okay, very good then. So I can just read what you had written to me. The custodian records at this time is unable to gain access to the account or access such accounts through the individual who's publicly named on the account as provided in your link, that the individual is currently unavailable due to health reasons. So twice I was denied by health reasons. So Chiarello is not well enough to respond to me twice, correct? You won't answer. That's what, I have the record here. Number 2, then finally, it was the custodian records request access to a private GoFundMe page held in the name of Chuck Chiarello. The custodian of the records was denied access to the private GoFundMe page as described in your request. And that's why I'm getting back to you, Mr. Deanne. Why, if this is in private hands, why are you the attorney that's working on this case? If this is a private matter.
Well, it's obviously not private, right? We know what the outcome of the case was, right?
But you were working on it as a private
Well,
case.
it was filed against Buena Vista Township, not against an individual, so.
So you're saying that you worked on this, you helped, did the mayor have his own attorney to
No.
advise him?
No, the case is against Buena Vista Township, correct?
No, it actually
Who's the
says it's a
defendant?
private. I was told it isn't, that this
Who's
is a
the
private
defendant in the
case.
case?
I'm sorry?
Who's the defendant in this case?
Oh, the township itself, and it
thank
had to go
Well,
into
that
the fight.
answered your
And they need
question.
representation.
Stop
And I
had
twisting
to-
everything around.
Twisting it, I had to fight you to get that. It took me 2 years in General Records Council to get that answer, that you know it's perfectly wrong for a public
don't.
official to have a private account taking money in for the township.
This
If
case
you,
is,
if
this
you'd have
case
just
is pending.
if you'd have just told them that that was wrong from the beginning, I think that's pretty obvious.
I don't think it matters. The fact of the matter is, you won this case.
After 2
You're gonna-
years
you
and after
get the
lots of money and
records
lots
or
of time
respons-
spent. I still want those
Unfortunately, that's
records.
litigation, Mr. Dimitrov. That's why.
Okay, thank you, but this is the kind of problems that I've had, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that difficult to find financial records for the township. Thank you.
We gave you all the financial records for the township, so don't.
You gave me
know.
all the records, then why, then
Yes.
this,
Well, this is,
A different
I
case?
can't discuss it, but this is against Chuck, and that's your problem. and
oh,
this
so it
has
isn't,
nothing-
no, so it is a private one, it is Chuck.
That's what you're saying.
No, that's what you just said.
Isn't that what you didn't
Listen,
get?
Just stop with the back.
Something? Okay, yeah, better, because you twist things around no matter what
I
anybody
twisted things
says
around,
to
I was
you.
just told that it's not,
All
that
right,
that
thank
it's
you.
not Chuck,
Sorry,
you
I
just said
can't-
it was Chuck. You just said it was
Sorry.
Chuck.
Well, isn't that who you're talking about? You're saying he was
So
sick and
it's
you
Chuck,
couldn't
so
get
Chuck,
to
so
it?
Chuck is the person that this is private account still, or is this public account? Did you help me? You're not gonna say anything.
You said it was against Buena Vista
The
Township.
GRC said that
so-
what you had requested is a government record. That's
So
what
it's not
they've-
Chuck.
That's what they've decided.
So Teresa is incorrect.
I don't know, Teresa is not commenting on this right now.
She just
Teresa's
did.
penny.
I heard a
She's-
comment.
listen,
Anyway, that's
Well, I
it.
heard the
It's
comment
just a
from you,
frustration of
that's
years of
where I
doing
was
this and being-
clarifying it.
But it's interesting to find out about being threatened, and there is a fixed cost. Very interesting.
Okay, anybody else from the township? The audience, that is? No? Anyone else? All right, we do have to go into closed session next, so we will, if nobody has anything, we're going to do
Motion to close public comment.
motion to close the public.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion to go back into executive session.
all right,
We have to adjourn, right?
we just did.
Can't adjourn.
We're going to go into the close. So motion to go in the closed session.
Second?
Roll call?
Kelly,
Yes.
Martinelli,
Yes.
Turner? Turner?
Whoop, got lost.
That's
Oh, you-
okay.
You see the
Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll fix that. Okay. Thank you.
All right, okay, we will have we are going in the closed session, and you're welcome to wait for after. We estimate at least,
We estimate about 30 minutes, however, I do not believe that there's going to be any formal action after.
okay. So then, we will go in there. Have a good night, have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.